Hey guys, my name is Zerduku and welcome back to Zap Entertainment for the second episode, the second chapter of Rise of Demonic Kids 4. Guys, before we start, I just want to let you guys know that this book took a lot out of me. There is so much emotional damage for me when I was writing this. Now, I am not going to say that you guys are going to be obligated to, like this book. But what I would like from you guys is to at least say something, an opinion, even if it's a bad opinion. And the book will be available on archive of my own for you to read on on your cell phones and tablets, all that yada yada stuff. And also, you can go to my Zap Entertainment Discord. Actually, yeah, it's Zap Entertainment Discord server, and you guys can download the book on your PC. And like I said, I really would like opinion. I worked really hard on this book, like really hard. I actually started writing this in like uh just before the summer, so I'd say about like April if I had to guess. But, that's pretty much all I really have to say. You know what? Gun Kid, take it away.
Alright, now it's my lead as bootleg Obi-Wan Kenobi. The force is strong for this one. The Undead Reaper. As last left off, the situation is pretty bleak right now.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2, The Undead Reaper. A month later, somewhere in the middle of the ocean lay an island. An island is 50 acres in diameter with no vegetation grown on it. Soda.
Mountain Dew, hashtag not sponsored.
There's the cue, folks. Half of the island is taken over by a massive building that has been built on it. The island building was known as the New Stone Penitentiary. This universe version of Arkham Asylum. A long time ago, a group of women who were part of the United Nations funded a corporation to help children. The aim of the organization was a new facility to help children around the entire planet. With many different issues. New Stone Penitentiary was built with the concept of helping children with psychological problems and get over addictions.
Emotional damage!
And heroin addiction. However, some of the children who were sent to this place committed murders. And those were the ones that were usually kept separate from the lesser problematic children. It's basically a very beefed up boot camp. Essentially. The isolated island is
basically
juvie, but maximum security.
It's basically juvie hall fused with maximum security prison.
Alcatraz.
More or less.
The isolated island made it difficult for people to escape, but luckily this location only housed 18 prisoners. So a massive facility for only 18 prisoners? Damn. Taxpayers' money wasted. Due to budget cuts, there was only 10 security guards in...
Apparently, the government is dumb.
50 acres of land. Massive building, stone penitentiary made to hold the most meanest kids you'd ever seen in real life and fucking world. Only has 10 security guards and only 5 employees.
Taxpayer money wasted.
This is doomed to fail the moment it was created. The foundation is built on fucking paper mache and Chinese prayers. It's basically tofu construction.
Did Willy Wonka just build this thing out of chocolate?
The Willy Wonka knows how to make things last against lawsuits. This is just a lawsuit that now we're having because it never existed. Because it's easy forgotten. It's basically you're forced to sign a waiver if you come here. You're gonna die regardless. Go fuck yourself, basically.
No, for fuck's sake. Anyways, back to the book.
10 security guards and only 5 employees, which maintain it with maintenance and janitors. Due to the fact that there wasn't many janitors around, the children would be paid to help. The doctors who work here thought of a way to help children by their psychological issues by giving them a task to do. However, in reality, the people who worked at this place didn't really care as long as the kids get get sent there don't cause too much trouble. This is a recipe to fail. As a result, kids are able to pay to buy their own food and are able to roam around certain parts of the prison if they behave. Unfortunately, after dark, they get sent to their cell. They're still sent to their cells. In a white lunchroom of New Stone's Penitentiary, the visual distance from the gray tile ceiling and focus on a 15-year-old girl sitting at one of the lunchroom tables. Her name is Judy, and she's blonde with the tips of her hair dyed red. On the right side of her hair is braided into a long ponytail going down to the right side of her body. On the left side, her hair is a tiny piece slightly to the left braid into a small speck of hair. Her eyes are red and her skin is tanned. She wears a small brown silky light cloth tied over her shoulders. The silky t-shirt is very loose, and as a result, you can see a bit of cleavage from her fan service breasts, her C types, covered with a black bra. She's also wearing tight blue jeans that leave little to the imagination as well. Black and red sneakers with orange socks.
Pass. Major pass.
Thank God. Or else you'd be on a fucking wanted list. Alright. She's sitting backwards on a chair on the lunchroom table, tapping her fingernails as she's impatiently waiting for something to happen. Her facial expressions at the moment also screamed of boredom and impatience. With a heavy sigh, she stood up and leaves the lunchroom. She freely wanders the hallway, making her way to the cell. Her cell. Making her way to her cell. Should be her cell.
Yeah.
There you go. As she's walking the hallway, she begins to ask herself in her head how she got here in the first place. She can no longer remember what she did to wind up in this place. That she refers to a hellhole. However, she can feel as if she's forgotten something very important. A missing piece of a puzzle that seems to be forgotten by a form of ignorance due to her own personality. Her thoughts were interrupted when she smelled something in the hallway. It was a cigarette smell, but it had a fragrance to it. Judy followed the smell to the boys' bathroom and walked in without thinking. As she looked up, she could see at the end of the bathroom, leaning against the wall as a 16-year-old boy named Blake Jr. Blake's a tall, muscular teen with white short hair and slightly dark skin. His brown eyes seemed to have a constant scowl. The scars on his face and chest were from knife fights he got into while being here in prison. This is less penitentiary and more of a jail, more prison. He wears a yellow jacket with black jeans. 3 years ago, Blake was sent here because he was selling illegal drugs on school grounds. When a school class
Good stuff.
good stuff. You want some drugs? Good stuff. It's called steroids. Good stuff. When a classmate found out, he murdered him in cold blood. Well, he belongs here. However, even though nothing was linked to the murder to Blake, he was still arrested for possession of legal drugs on school grounds. Since he was a minor, he was sent to New Stone. However, Blake witnessed his father get hit by a truck a while ago and as a result, he become addicted to drugs that he was selling, which is marijuana. Marijuana's not a hard drug, but I guess in this universe it is. Judy,
I don't know my stuff.
well, nowadays
I don't smoke that shit.
I have friends that do. It's not really that bad nowadays. Back in the day, it used to be bad, like back in the 80s.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe that's where I'm getting that information from.
Yep. Nowadays, it's more lenient. Well, if you want a power drug like heroin or crystal meth, that's definitely hard stuff. What are you doing here by yourself? And what's with the delightful smells? Asked Judy. I'm taking a smoke break. What are you doing in the boys' bathroom? Asked Blake with a calm voice, smoking his joint without a care in the world. Huh? Is something wrong? Is there something wrong? Judy said with ignorance, not understanding that she can't be in the boys' bathroom.
Wow.
And here's the cue, folks. As the meeting's boys, Blake laughed in response. Why did you come in here? Asked Blake, approaching Judy with only a couple of steps. I smelled the smoke and I came to see where it was coming from. May I have some? Asked Judy with ignorant politeness. Blake smiled sincerely. Sure. Why should I give you any? Do you have anything to give me? Asked Blake with a sinister smile, looking at Judy's body. Of course. Fucking course. Of course.
Benedict's ready, ladies and gentlemen.
Because there's no logic in any of these stories. Straight to sex. Fuck it, why not?
Fuck you, I'll send you to Jesus.
You're not saying to me. I've done nothing wrong. Prisoners are allowed to wear anything they can afford, while employees and doctors wear standard uniforms. This is a very lax facility. This facility is doomed to fail. The builders of the new Stone Penitentiary believe that it would be wrong to force children to wear prison uniforms. All male teenagers have noticed Judy's choice of clothes, and as a result, she has sort of won the prize to win for most of the boys in prison.
So she's basically like
Jailhouse bait.
Yeah.
She's basically jail bait. What do you want to turn?
She might enjoy it though. To each the own.
I don't have much money, explained Judy. How about you give me some fun? And as a result, I'll give you some 3 joints. Sounds good? Oh, there's gonna be a scene where people can get their wool socks out again. You sick bastards. Do you know these are still minors, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to federal prison if they find you getting out in public. Have fun.
It's just a story, for fuck's sake.
Just a story, and age is just a number. Alright. Points at the bathroom stall. Judy looks at the bathroom stall still with confusion. I don't get what you're going at. Judy scratched the back of her head. Don't worry, just follow my lead, said Blake as he exhaled the smoke. Judy looked at Blake and accidentally blew some of the fumes in, made her a little high. Okay, here you go, folks. Have fun reading all this. You sick bastards.
Y'all can read this.
And have your wool socks out, because I know you still have it from the last episode.
Basically.
And read all of this.
I'm not sure if they can see it when you highlight it, but
Well, they can always pause a video and watch it.
fair enough.
After having sex in the bathroom, very sanitary, Judy and Blake put their clothes back on and returned to her cells. At that night, Judy reached her cells. Well, unprotected sex, she's definitely pregnant. They can't afford condoms, I guess, in this fucking place. Because it's so low staff and no one gives a fuck. Place is doomed to fail from the start. Returned to her cell with 3 joints at hand. She put them into her pocket of her blue jeans shorts. Then lay down on her bed, staring at the ceiling. As she lied down in bed, she began to ask herself, how long has it been since she felt pain? Wow, just jumped to 180 to 180. Sex to pain. Damn. How long since she felt pleasure? She can't remember how long she's been here. but she doesn't know that's bored. But she does know that she's bored and how she feels like something's missing. Been missing something important, something that she learned long ago and completely forgot. But after that, whatever happened today, she began to slowly remember. She lights the joints with a light. She lights the joints with a lighter. She lights all three at once. Damn.
No, she joint.
She lights one of the joints with a lighter. With a lighter that she was given by Blake. So she slowly became high. She took a drag outfit. Since she was drifting off into her memories, she remembered at one time she was 10 years old, little girl in normal school. She remembered that she didn't have. She remembered that she didn't have her tips of hair dyed red, and her hair was pure blonde, with smooth ponytails. She still had red eyes even then. She remembers that she wore a black dress with blue jeans, with dark blue shorts. On that day, she was in the math test, and because that Judy was never truly intelligent, she failed it, like she had failed many. It's just kids that don't have proper educations. Fuck it, story continues.
I beg thou pardon.
Beg thou pardon, boy, you don't need to do your. Forget it. Research needed. Or paper test in the past.
We require more research.
Yes. Soon on that day, she received her F minus. She left classroom disappointed as always. Always after the bell rings, Judy became a target, being picked on for her stupidity. One of the mean girls that always picked on Judy was Ashley. Ashley was a year older than Judy, and she has long brown hair with a pink dress and green eyes. On that day, Ashley and her friends pushed Judy, causing her to fall onto the school floor. Failed again, I see. I guess cements my point that you will always be an immature little girl compared to me, said the girl, as she and her friends began laughing with pride.
Fucking Vegeta girl.
So much fucking Vegeta in this story. I guess you would be better off just you were one of those stable people. Jesus Christ. She's just basically not saying you're better off just being retarded, I guess. Holy fuck. Who always have someone who has their hands around yours. Ashley continued to mock Judy as Judy tried to gather up her things. In that time, Judy was a shy girl who always kept to herself and never really said anything back. But on that day, somebody unexpected came to her help, gathering her things to help her pick up. Do you need some help? Said a popular boy, Kevin. Despite being younger, the girls always fawned over Kevin. Kevin had a dark, spiky hair, fucking Goku, black eyes, and dark green shirt with blue jeans.
Not quite Goku.
Spiky black hair. Kakarot.
Would you stop picking on my story that I worked so hard? I will send you to Jesus.
Thank you, said Judy. Judy responded, accepting the help. Kevin politely helped Judy gather her things. At the same time, the other girls just watched with disgust. After that, Judy gathered her things. She left without saying a word. You girls should be ashamed of yourself, said Kevin with anger.
Huh. It looks like someone is trying to replace Heichi.
I know what happened to Heiji last story. I'm not expecting a good ending. I'll be honest. There's no way good endings ever happen. It's rated X for a reason. The girls were unable to respond as their faces were stricken by the shock of what he said. Then Kevin just walked away.
Honestly, the rated X only just means that there's going to be sex in it. It doesn't mean that it's going to have a bad ending.
First chapter had a bad ending for that chapter. Friends dead, mass murder, demon. Where does those girls have to get the nerve to fraternize with most? Where does that girl get the nerve to fraternize with the most popular kid in school? Asked Ashley to her friends. After school, after that school day, Judy returned home where her family lived on the third floor of the apartment building, a brown building of a mediocre living space. As soon as Judy walked in through the front door, her father comforted her. Comforted her. I spoke with the principal on the phone today. He told me that you confronted her. Got an on your school exam. Judy, how many times have I told you you need to study and learn? For this, I want you to stay in your room today, said Judy's father with authority. Judy had no facial expressions and just listened to her father and walked to her room. She sat in her room with her head leaning against her bed. As she sat on the floor, unaware of what's happening outside her bedroom, her father and mother were talking to each other. You know you can't just send her to her room for failing, said her Judy's mother. She needs to learn to succeed. How can she learn anything if she's not punished? Explained the father. The mother took a heavy sigh and nodded her head, while at the same time putting her hands on her forehead slowly. Julie sat in her room thinking it to herself. Everything is always the same. To her, it seems like you're not smart enough then, you're not important to anyone. She could never seem to succeed in doing anything right to please anyone. Judy had just a little girl. Judy was just a little girl and never really thought of trying to please herself. She always tried to make her mother and father happy for what she did because that's what she was been taught. In this moment, she seemed to try to think about how the world seems to be revolving around her for once. However, she made no real conclusion, so she decided to get off the floor and lay in her bed. Later that night, her mother entered her room and sat down to her daughter with tender care. I know your father can be harsh sometimes, but he's just worried about you, said said Judy's mother. Why does everyone treat me like this? Asked Judy with a little small amount of ignorance. Unfortunately, we live in a world where if you can't succeed someone's expectations, then you just become a target. You just have to find something that helps you fit in with others. She explained to her mother. It's really important to. Is it really that important to think about others? I'm starting to see the track record of the story. It's basically fuck what everyone else thinks, just do your own thing. And I've seen the tendency of do your own thing means get demons and kill people. Fall into temptation, asked Judy. Yes, Judy, because that is what makes us human, said her mother as she lay down lovingly next to her daughter. The next day, the night Judy's mother fell asleep with her daughter. The next day, back at school, in her gym class, Judy's playing soccer. While the other students passed the ball to her, Judy immediately reached and tapped the ball with her feet towards the goal. The other students were not able to catch up with her before she scored. After she scored a goal, the gym teacher gets up and touches the students with a whistle. Let's go, everyone. Now set the ball in the center for next round, said the gym teacher, without even caring about Judy's success. Judy may be terrible in class with everything to do with schoolwork, with extracurriculum, but she's very good at sports. She's very athletic, very fast, and very strong. Although no matter how much blood, sweat, and tears she puts into sports, she never gets praise from anyone. Probably because the school sucks.
Wow. Well, so the only thing that Judy has for her, well, she's very dumb when it comes to like things that have to do with like paper and math and all
Curriculum
that.
stuff.
But she's very sports like. She's
So
physical.
she'll fit well in sports. It's just not curriculum she's good at.
Mm-hmm.
She's not good at
She's
mathematics.
she's she's basically just like she's very she's very physical.
Yep. Not even her own family. She has been she has beaten other people in basketball, soccer, tennis, and even climbing. Judy's parents have taught her that if she does something right, she gets rewarded. But it seems even when she gets something right, no one seems to care. Probably because the school system sucks in this region.
It's not just the school; it's the frick her parents are done that doesn't seem to care about her, her physical means. It's like they just want her to be, smart, super smart.
That's bad parenting, basically. So bad parenting and bad school system. She could try out for a sports team. Well, I guess that's not going to happen in the story. Let's keep reading.
Yeah.
It goes against everything she's learned up to this point. As a result, the moment her that this moment made her question what her parents taught her. On a cloudy, warm day, the kids of the school were playing soccer outside. Unaware that the school lunchroom was expecting the shipment of food that day, the school driver was late because of traffic. They're driving 24 hours straight, delivering things across the country. So that day, the kids were playing soccer. One of the kids accidentally kicked the ball so hard it went into the road within the school grounds. "I'll get it," shouted Judy, while running out on the road. Not even thinking about it. Usually the roads on school grounds were empty and not having a lot of traffic. So not even a gym teacher thought about it. When Judy managed to get the soccer ball, all of a sudden she was hit by a semi truck.
It's frickin' Pet Cemetery now.
And unlike other animes, you usually get isekai when you get hit by a truck. But this one, nope. You're fucked. That was delivering food. When the students and teachers saw and heard was a students and teachers saw and heard it was a minor scream of pain, and a burst of blood on a road, and screeching brakes on a truck, most students were just complete shock and fear after what they just seen. While the others immediately vomited from the sight of blood, the gym teacher didn't even hesitate. He ran as fast as he could to survey the situation. Where is it? While all this happened, Judy was underneath the semi truck with half her arm missing, covered in scratches and bruises. She was in immense amount of pain, so she was somehow still alive. Though her pain of her blurred vision, she looked at her arm and saw all bone regrow from the veins in her arms. She was confused with the sight of it. She rolled over as much as she could and saw that her legs were broken, but they started to snap back in place. She has regeneration. As she watched this happen, the pain just quickly faded away. "No, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. Please tell me you're okay," shouted truck driver, getting out of the truck. He begins to panic as he runs where he assumed where she would have been underneath the truck. Gym teacher immediately stopped him. "What the hell are you thinking?" said the gym teacher in anger. "I'm sorry. I haven't been getting any sleep. This town just sucks. They overworked our staff," shouted the truck driver as he began to cry, feeling ashamed at what he had just done. While they were arguing, they were interrupted by sounds of coughing and groaning. Teacher and truck driver looked to see Judy coming out of underneath the truck. Both of them saw her covered in scratches from the metal of the truck and bruises from the impact. There's also the view of your students watching horror. "Are you okay, Judy?" asked the gym teacher as he knelt down to her height. "What happened?" said Judy as she coughed, as she looked dazed and confused, but she continued to cough. She coughed up some blood because she was unaware that one of her ribs was just pierced to her heart. It would have been more lung, but whatever. Because it was on the inside, which no one saw. Suddenly, inside her ribcage snapped back into place. But when it did, she felt immense pain that she brought brought down to her knees. "Call the hospital," said the teacher as he gently picked up Judy and took her to the infirmary. "All students are dismissed. Please come inside," shouted the gym teacher as he carried Judy inside. Regardless of the order, the kids stood there in complete shock due to everything they just seen. 1.5 hours, 2.5 hours later.
2.5 hours.
Two.
Wow, that's a weird way to put that. But anyways,
We're on page 2.5 hours later. Judy was sent to the hospital to be looked at by doctors. Judy's parents arrived at the hospital to talk with the doctor. They all sat in a room with the doctor looking at X-rays. We're on page 45. Near there, folks. As you can see, your daughter's received no broken bones or serious injuries. Honestly, I'm shocked to hear that this little girl's been struck by a truck and survived unscathed. It's rare for people not to receive any injuries from being hit by an oncoming vehicle, but this can happen, explained the doctor of professionalism. But we heard from the school there was blood. Are you sure there's no injuries that we should be concerned about? Asked Judy's father. At the same time, her mother looked very concerned while rubbing Judy's father's shoulder. The doctor seemed to take a moment to respond. There were some minor injuries that when your daughter arrived, but I can't explain it. But your daughter was fine. Can't explain it. Your daughter was fine. The doctor responded with a clear hint of seeing something he cannot explain. I think confusion.
I'm not sure. Oh, whatever. Just keep going.
Yep. Judy's father did not know how to respond, but her mother did respond. What's a wonderful thing to hear that our daughter's fine. Can we see her? Said the mother. Yes, the doctor instantly responded as he guided them to their daughter. Entering the hospital room with their daughter sitting in the hospital bed, seemingly deep in thought. "Judy," said the mother. "Yes, mother." "Yes, mother," said Judy as she got out of the bed and approached her parents. "How are you feeling?" asked the mother as she knelt down to her level. "Fine," Judy said with hesitation. Her mother did not think any more about it. They did not think anything of the other, that her just being a little girl, not understanding the situation. "Time to go home," said the mother as she offered her hand as she stood up. "Okay," said Judy as she accepted the guide home. At the same time, the father looked concerned about the situation, not being able to do anything at the moment other than help his wife and his daughter go home. After that, Judy and her parents arrived home. Judy was sitting in her bedroom contemplating on what happened that day. At the same time, her parents were in the kitchen talking about the events that took place. "I can't believe this happened. I'm starting to regret us not figuring out where she came from." "Shockers, people," said the father, sitting in the kitchen table looking scared. "You said we found her on the doorstep when she was a gift from God."
What?
"We're finding out she's not even their pet daughter."
Oh yeah, that.
"From gift from God. Don't disown her now since we're unable to conceive a child. No matter where she come from, she is our daughter," responded the mother with slight frustration. "I do love our daughter, but after what happened today, I think I'm scared," said the father as he lit a cigarette nervously. As immediate response, immediate response, the mother sat down holding her husband's hand. "What are you afraid of? She's just a little girl," said the mother with tender care. "You're right, Martha. I guess I'm just being foolish," responded the father. At the same time, there was when this whole conversation was going on, Judy was thinking to herself and trying to make sense of everything. She was unaware that the conversation between her parents, took her memories step by step, and when she remembered a hint of pain a blackout, at that moment she began to wonder: did she die? She only had a hard time believing what she saw her arm regenerate. She began to wonder if she hallucinated that event. She looked at her arm with confusion, and then Then she turned her head to the cup sitting on the art tools. In that cup was a tool of pair of sharp scissors. Oh God, I know what's gonna happen. She's gonna test it. Without thinking much, she grabbed the scissors and was about to stab her hand, but stopped, afraid of what was going to happen. Afraid what was going to do something really stupid. She hesitated, but imagined, but the image of her arm regenerating played over and over in her head, played over and over again in her brain, and began to overpower her reasoning. As a result, she looked away and she stabbed her hand with the scissors. She felt extreme pain, and then she pulled the scissors out of her hand quickly. The blood stopped from off the hidden floor as she looked at the blood go back into her hand, rewind back into her hand, closing the wound. I can heal, Judy whispered to herself. At that moment, despite her ignorance, she began to have questions about herself. Is she immortal? Like immortal?
Yeah, immortal.
Immortal. There you go. Is she some sort of monster? She's not
maybe it was mortal because gotcha.
Like she can't die from she can heal from any injury.
She was probably thinking that is she even a person basically?
She's right now. She's saying is she some sort of monster? Not having the answers
Whatever.
and incapable ability to grasp her power, she decided to go to bed. Next day, Jean went to school as always, but there were differences. There was some difference. As Judy walked to her hallway, all the kids stared at her. She didn't notice because she was too deep in thought. When she wasn't really paying attention to where she was going, she realized that her powers could mean that she cannot die, which makes her more special than any other child. And she let it all go to her head. I saw some flicker for a second.
That was there was a bird that flew in front of the
window.
Yeah, window where the light was coming in.
The more she thinks about that pain, the more she begins to remember that she enjoyed that pain. Oh, great. Oh, fucking great. She's one of those characters.
She's both.
I can heal from anything. I love the pain.
She's both a masochist and a sadist. Yeah.
She's the equivalent of both. The more she thought about it, or for her power, the more her signs began to chip away. She now hit God complex. She began to feel that she's above everyone else. God complex. And there it is, immortal goddess. And she believed she was like an immortal goddess that could be worshipped. At that moment, she began to look at everyone's faces and didn't see her as a goddess, but as a freak. But she didn't care. Looking to the right of a line of different kids at that school looked at her. She was not paying attention on what was in front of her. It ran directly into Ashley. Not paying attention, you dumb blonde? I know what's going to happen here, said Ashley with mocking anger.
Well, at least it's not that whole thing with Crocker, but anyways, moving on.
Judy looked at Ashley very differently. Normally, Judy would look away from Ashley, but on that day, she looked into her eyes with disgust. You know, I come to realize that you're just quite a lucky bitch. I was hoping that a truck would actually kill you. I feel that the school would be better off with one less dumb blonde.
Emotional damage!
That's not very emotional damage for this girl. She's just gonna kill her. I already know. What happens to most bullies in fucking horror movies and anime? Dead.
Just instant dead.
Your fate was forfeited the moment you bullied me. It's like the quiet kid. Don't come to school tomorrow when he tells his only friend. What's going to happen? A kill streak event's going to happen. With a thinking gesture, immediately Judy clung her fist and surprisingly punched Ashley in the eye. In immediate response, all Ashley's friends and the other students in the hallways watched and gasped with surprise. I'm not the same girl you used to pick on, you see. Ashley, I've become death itself, and here's God Complex everywhere. She believes she's the goddess of death. I am the Reaper who takes all that you love away. You can no longer take things from me, because anything you take from me, I'll double back from you. If anyone understands this, then you shall bow to me.
Okay.
She's gone nuts.
Freaking emotional damage back. Holy hell.
Here comes the God complex, said Judy with pride. She's now Vegeta.
Female Vegeta.
Vegeta Ultra Instinct. No, Vegeta Ultra Ego. Due to Judy's violence, in her words, Ashley's friends lunged to tackle Judy without thinking. At once without thinking. Judy punched down the first girl, but the other girl pinned her against the wall, his lockers. The third girl was about to punch her, but Judy used her arms that were pinned against the locker to lift herself to kick the third girl, using her strength to overpower the other two. As she was fighting and causing pain to others, for once in her life, she felt truly happy. I guess her desire was to let others feel the pain she felt, to deal it back. Then the rush of adrenaline and the feeling that blood was on their rather broken noses was on her fists made her feel pleasure. What the fuck? She grabbed one of the girls by the hair and slammed her head against the locker. And then there was a few punches. She defeated all 6 of Ashley's friends. Then she was finally finished. She looked at the other students watching. They all bowed to her in respect. What the fuck? That's not a normal human response. This is definitely anime inspired. Fear. Bow! They're fearful. Most normal human response. Run away! Call the cops! Psychotic bitch! She felt happy being feared because it's her to her it felt like love. Her pride grew inside of her, which made her extremely happy. Now the shy girl that once existed was now dead within Judy's heart and replaced by the malevolent 2 teachers by malevolence. It should be thrill, replaced by thrill of hurting people.
Nah, I think malevolence fits.
Malevolence is just pure evil, so I guess all these stories are pure evil, so there's no happy ending for us folks. Two teachers and the principal saw the end results. The principal walked up Judy. Come with me right now, said the principal. Judy listened, but did not care that she was in trouble. Her happiness and pride negated any feeling of fear. When Judy arrived to the principal's office, she sat in a chair with her legs crossed and her elbows on her knee, and her elbow on her knee, with her hand on her chin, looking like she didn't care. I'm just pointing to you, Judy. You have never been in trouble once, but today you displayed violence. You cannot go around punching people that just to get what you want. We need to talk it out with others, with people, explained the principal. But Judy continued to stare at a wall, not listening. Judy, are you listening? Shouted the principal while looking impatient. No, said Judy, not about Karen. Was I not Karen? Okay then, I'll call your parents, said the principal as she immediately picked up the phone. It's basically like I remember reading a book or a movie or watching a movie or something where basically a kid has powers, but his parents never told him he had powers, and the kid get a god complex and he can do what he wants. That's essentially what it is here. Judy, I'm calling your parents to pick up the phone. Okay, Judy said, still not Karen. After that, the principal immediately dialed Judy's phone, father, work number. He put the phone to his ear, listening to the phone ring, and waited for someone to pick up. At that time, Judy's father was sitting in a cash register at the grocery store that he worked at. He heard the buzzing of his cell phone in his pocket and took it out. Answered the phone. Said the store was not busy. Yeah, hello? Answered the father. Not sure who was calling. Hello there, Mr. Nelson. I'm sorry to call you, but your daughter has started a fight at school, and she has been uncooperative, explained the principal. What? What are you talking about? Judy's father replied, looking extremely confused. He had a hard time wrapping his head around the situation. Judy has injured 7 students, and I tried to talk to her, but she's not listening, explained the principal. As immediate response, Judy's father became angry. Immediate response. I'll be there in 5 minutes, said Mr. Nelson as he hung up the phone. After that, the principal sat down, put down the phone, then looked at Judy as she swayed in the chair looking extremely bored. Yeah, she definitely has a god complex. I know I said it before, but I'll say it again. She's gone crazy. Because she feels power for the first time in her life. Like she doesn't care about the situation. Your father's on will be here soon, said the principal. Okay, responded with very little care. Judy responded with very little care in voice. More than 5 minutes later, Judy's father picked up Judy and took her home. On the way home, Mr. Nelson called his wife and explained everything that happened. Explained everything to her. Judy and her parents met all back in the kitchen. Her father immediately began to talk down to her. I can't believe you did this, Judy. You can't just go around hurting other people just because you can, shouted Mr. Nelson with absolute anger.
With great power comes great responsibility.
But in this book, kids don't care.
But it's not. But it's this is not Spider-Man.
There's no happy ending. These girls are picking on me since day one, explained Judy. So what? You punch me just because you think it's self-defense? Well, I mean, technically it is if they assault you first. Think about all the injuries you caused.
This is the problem with when there's bullying going on at school. They don't want kids to be punching each other, but we talk about self-defense. None of it makes sense.
When I was bullied at school, I actually stood up for myself. One of my parents did. They took me out for ice cream.
What?
They're like, this kid's been bullying my son for a while, and my son stood up for himself. I'm proud of him. We're going to ice cream. So either they take me up from school.
Did the principals, teachers try to say it was bad or something?
They did because, well, we don't want bullies escalating. But I think my stepdad said this. If I remember correctly, when I was little, my stepdad and my mom, they said, well, I'm proud of him for standing up for himself. We're getting ice cream. So I was taken out of school and brought to the ice cream shop.
Well, now that is a good father.
Good father and mother.
But this is bad.
This is just bad parenting. They just want more smarter kids. Not just, We're back to it. Think about all the parents that have to pay for injuries for their kids, shouted Judy's father. Now wait, how about, said Judy's mother, but she was interrupted by her husband. Stop, I'll handle this, shouted the father. Judy's mother just threw up her hands in disgust and walked to the kitchen.
She was like, oh, I can't. I think Judy's mother at this point is thinking about a divorce.
This family is just a toxic family.
It's basically a nuclear
So you're
family.
telling me I should just stand there and take it? Judy said, shouted as a reply. Yes, and then you tell a teacher or the principal. That's not a very good response.
Yeah, this father's bad.
But that's not only. That's not the only.
But that doesn't solve.
But
anything?
that doesn't solve anything. But also is unfair.
Wait. Hang on.
But that doesn't only solve.
That does not.
That does not only doesn't.
Yeah, that doesn't. You know what? Get rid of only. It's not supposed.
But that
to.
doesn't solve anything.
Yeah.
But it's also isn't fair. But it's also isn't fair. Remove also or keep it.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
All right. Life is not fair, and the sooner you learn that, the better. That's bad parenting. Shouted Judy's father as he grabbed his daughter's arm, and then spanked her and sent her to in the corner. Now stand there in the corner and learn your lesson, said Mr. Nelson as he walked to leave his daughter in the corner. Judy listened to her father and stood up in the corner with anger growing inside of her. Oh, here comes the dark part. The more and more she thought about the situation, the more she began to feel like everything that happened to her right now isn't fair and shouldn't happen. For her, for once in her life, she felt like she did the right thing by defending herself against bullies. But instead of being rewarded for what she had done, she was punished. Looking down at the visual behind Judy, Looking down from the visual behind Judy, as it zooms in, showing her shadow from the light in the room, her shadow became more into a frame, she became more into frame. It becomes less like a shadow of a little girl, more a shadow of a devil. Her shadow began to speak to her as its dark emotions had voice. Why should he punish you? You defended your pride. You were only defending your pride. There's a difference between defending your pride and defending yourself. If you defend your pride, you only hurt others around you. Defend yourself, you only hurt the person who hurts you.
Is that the same thing? Yourself is your pride?
Well, if your pride is just your ego, if you enjoy hurting people that and want to continue doing that, that's your pride. Defending yourself is not your ego. Well, I'm now confused with all this shit.
Yeah. This is some really deep shit.
Not really deep. It's just poor management of every part. The school, family, just into jail. So she had tears slowly began to drip down her face, but it wasn't emotions of sadness she felt, but the emotion of anger growing in her heart. Why should you listen to anyone? You have the power that others envy. You are so much more special than anyone else. Your voice is the only opinion that should matter, not theirs. God complex and engaged, said the shadow. After that, Judy clenched her
Godplex engage.
maximum Godplex. Alright, Judy's fist clenched. She couldn't help but agree with the shadow. She began to think about who she was before, and realized that she became sick of who she was. She wanted to change and wanted life to be different, but her parents wouldn't let her change. Society called her an idiot. She saw the toxic side of society, the where beats you down.
Yeah, she's been beaten down.
Yep. Even when she did something right, it never felt good. But when when she fought back and injured those girls, for the first time she felt happiness. The hatred of the world began to grow inside of her, but the hatred didn't control her. Hatred and fear started to power her heart with control and understanding the path ahead of her. I'm tired of my parents, my life, and everything else. I wish they could go away so I can change it. Judy whispered to the wall. Reach out and take this, and then you will take all of your problems rain from blood. She said the shadow. All at the same time, a metal stick seemed to come out from the shadow of the wall. Without thinking about it, Judy reached forward, leaving behind her innocence and her childhood. Pulling the metal stick back, protruded from the wall, came out a scythe. The weapon had a black handle with a metal skull on top of it. This is definitely anime inspired, people. Essentially, metal skull on top of it with a red blade. After that, Judy struggled to bring the weapon to the next room. In the living room, Mr. Nelson took a book off the shelf and opened it, starting to read. But he heard the sounds of dragging metal come towards him. He turned to the left to see Judy looking down at the floor, dragging something behind her. You're in timeout. Go back, shouted Judy's father. As he pointed to the other room, Judy tilted her head, looking at her father in the eyes. Judy's smile was insanely as tears rolled down her face. Before her father could react, Judy swung the weapon at him, which had been impaled to the wall. As it swung faster than the speed of light, in the sounds themselves, a flash of light diagonally cut through the room, and disappeared so quickly as it appeared. Judy is momentarily confused and looked at her father, who had a look of frozen fear frozen on his face. Before Judy could speak, her father's torso slowly slided off a bomb part of his body, like time lapsed, like a time lapse scene from a silent movie. The next sound was the next sound is the next sound started expect the next no sound is no sound in heard should is No sound is heard except for the wet sliding of flesh. Yeah, next. No sound is heard except for the wet sliding of flesh and sickening thud of a splat of her father's body slide into the puddle of his own crimson blood. At that moment, Judy realized that she had done what she had done, and the wetness on her face wasn't tears of joy. It was mixed with tears with the blood of her father. A smile insanely spread on her face, and blood-soaked face, dripping with sins in the light. It's basically this whole story of just kids falling to darkness. She so badly wanted to do it again. Judy began to giggle with sadness and freedom, with happiness and freedom. She felt jubilated. Hearing commotion, her mother stepped into the room and is shocked with fear what saw the sight before her. Dear God, said Judy's mother, but she was not able to finish their next sentence before she was decapitated.
Decapitation!
Yet again, blood rained, and Judy dropped the weapon and danced within the bloody rain with sinister delight. Her clothes and her hair stained with the blood, dripping with sin. She decided, wanting to do it again. After that, Judy had a flash of memories of killing all occupants of the apartment building that she lived in. She remembered their faces, but she couldn't remember how it felt. She remembered being free and happy. Then woke up from her memories to present day, and feel the present day of being in New Stone Penitentiary. Now she thought about it. She didn't remember who called the cops, but she did remember that day she was arrested and brought here. After all this time of boredom, Judy now remembered who she was. The visual left the barred window where Judy is, and go into the background of the ocean, with lightning striking one of the towers, and then a black screen. Pride cannot be contained, because pride is true malevolence, and true malevolence cannot be contained. Only shame the devil with humanity and understand of humility in others, not with your own selfish pride. Signed, A Philosophy of Angels and Demons. That's end of chapter 2, folks.
What'd you think of that one?
No happy endings in this book.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. Well, please like and subscribe, and this is Gun Kid and Zerduku signing out.